A year ago, I lost my IT job and I took the plunge and became a full-time author. Now it's time to look back at the mistakes I made during this past year. Some of them were quite expensive. They cost me readers, they cost me money, they cost me time. And one of them is probably the reason why I still don't have a full-time income from writing. So hi, I'm Sunela Roo, a fantasy author based in South Africa. And on this channel, I'm sharing my journey to becoming a full-time author. I didn't start from scratch. When I started, I had 6 books published, but the lessons that I've learned are going to be different from somebody who's starting from zero, but I think they'll still be applicable to anyone who's taking on this indie author journey. So let's dive right into it and look at the 10 expensive mistakes I made this past year. Number 1, not starting on YouTube sooner. I spoke about this a little bit in my first video, and I'm an introvert and I'm not really comfortable speaking in front of other people, never mind in front of a camera. But yeah, I kept on putting it off and saying, I'll do it later, I'll do it later. And I'm sorry now that I didn't actually do it sooner, because I could have documented this whole journey from the start, and that would have been much better for everyone involved. I'd be better making videos, I'd be more comfortable. Yeah, and I realized you need to be bad to get good. So this is me getting good. Number 2, not finding an author community. So this one surprised me, because being an introvert, I didn't really think I needed people, but yeah, it turns out you do need people. The loneliness was unexpected, and I do miss talking to my colleagues every day, and the jokes and everything involved with being around people. My family are supportive, but they're not authors, and they don't understand the emotional roller coaster that goes with indie publishing. So I'm still trying to find that community, but in the meantime, I've joined a table tennis club, and I get to interact with people there, which is great, and it's not about books, which is probably good for me. Number 3, waiting to advertise. So I kept on telling myself I'll advertise as soon as the series is finished, which obviously there are benefits to advertising a complete series. There's the read through, and readers are just more willing to take a chance on an unknown author if they know the series is not hanging. Well, we're not pulling a Patrick Rothfuss or anything. But if I'd started sooner, I might have had more readers by now, and I would have had a bigger audience, and I think things would have been along much further than it is right now. Number 4, staying out of Kindle Unlimited. So at the time, it made sense. I didn't want to put all my eggs in one basket, and I wanted to be able to reach readers that are not bound to Amazon. But unfortunately, I write fantasy, urban fantasy, contemporary fantasy, and the readers are at Amazon. The Kindle Unlimited readers are binge readers, and that's where the biggest market is. So it was the wrong decision for me at the time, and I think I would have been further along if I had taken my books out of Wide and joined Kindle Unlimited much sooner. Since doing so, the trajectory of my sales has gone upwards all the way. So it's definitely been the wrong decision not to be there from the start. Okay, we're halfway there. The next lessons are a bit more personal, but I think they'll still be useful for any indie author. Number 5, publishing before understanding my publishing rights. So I used to write a flash fiction story every month, which I sent out to my newsletter subscribers. And then later on, I bundled these stories into collections, and I sold them on Amazon and Wide. What I didn't know was that when I did that, I gave away my first publication rights. Short stories don't really sell as standalone books, or even as a series of standalone books. You need to sell them to magazines and journals. And when you've given away your first publication rights, you have a smaller market to choose from, and you're getting less revenue from them. So I should have submitted to magazines first. Lesson learned, I guess. Number 6, starting a Ream account too early. So for those of you who don't know what Ream is, it's like Patreon, but it's for authors. So you have creators creating things, and then you have patrons who pay for access to these things. And it's a great platform. I would use it again, but unfortunately, it doesn't make a lot of sense if you don't have many followers. I had too few readers. They were great, but they were just too few to make it worthwhile for me to sustain the amount of work that went into updating my Ream platform. So maybe later, but yeah, I should have waited before I did that. Number 7, spending a month on something that no one would ever see. So yeah, this one still hurts. I spent an entire month creating AI narration versions of my flash fiction stories on 11 Labs. And I listened to every word. I picked the right voices. I fixed the pronunciations. Those of you who have used 11 Labs know it's not just pressing a button. There's actually quite a lot of work involved. So I spent a lot of time making these clips for my short stories so that I could eventually publish them as an audiobook. And when it came time to upload them to the distributor that I would use, I realized that the format was incorrect. I shouldn't have used single clips for each story. I should have created it all as one big audiobook file. So distributor didn't accept these single files. So yeah, that was unfortunate. It was quite an expensive mistake to make as well. But it wasn't a waste of time. I am fully intending to use this on YouTube later. I'm thinking maybe little videos, if I can manage it, make little videos, like little movies out of the story. So we'll see how that goes. And this is a reminder to everyone listening that you need to make sure you understand the technical requirements before you spend so much money and an entire month of wasted time on something. Number 8, chasing every shiny new idea. So when I finished the Mythical Menagerie series, it was like such a wonderful feeling because finally, after a decade of writing this one story, I could move on. And of course, writers being writers, I had so many ideas and they all came clamoring in, and I started some and I never ended any of them. And if there's something I know about myself is that I am pressure driven and deadline driven, and I need to focus on one thing. I mean, the amount of half empty shampoo bottles in my shower is an indication of this. So yes, you need to focus and start something and finish something, and don't lose track of what you're doing. If you're ADHD or neurodivergent, I mean, this probably won't apply to you, but for me, I need to focus and get something done. So another lesson learned. Number 9, printing my books locally. So I've said before, in South Africa, we have difficulty with publish on demand. We have to have print runs of, I don't know, depends on how much money you're willing to spend per book, but let's say 100 copies per book. And when I needed to do a legal deposit for the National Library, I needed one copy of each of my books. So trying to get printers to do that for me, it just didn't work. Eventually, I did order the copies from Amazon US, imported them to South Africa, and that turned out much cheaper and so much quicker. And I will just do that from now on. Finally, this is the biggest lesson I've learned this year so far. Number 10, not building multiple streams of income. So I don't know if you know, but books don't bring in a lot of money. um, my sales are improving. I'm making a little bit of profit finally, but it's nowhere near good enough to replace my IT salary. And one income source creates a lot of pressure. So I would have diversified a lot sooner. I would have created this channel. It might have been monetized by now, who knows, done some freelancing, whatever, just something else so that my creative business doesn't depend solely on one stream of income. So take note, if you're at your starting phase, don't let your books carry all the weight. Okay, so those were the 10 biggest mistakes I made this year. I hope you found them helpful. I hope they'll save you some time and money and frustration. And I'd love to know, what is the biggest mistake you made in your career, be that your indie author journey or however. And if you like this, like to follow my journey and like this channel, please like and follow and subscribe, and I would really appreciate it. Next week, I'll talk about the 10 things I did right in the past year. Thank you for watching.